Jeffrey Dahmer made one mistake in 13 years of killing. It wasn't leaving evidence. It wasn't getting sloppy. It was something so simple that when I tell you what it was, you'll wonder how he stayed free for over a decade. This mistake led police straight to apartment 213 and exposed America's most shocking crime scene. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal will change how you think about this case forever. July 22, 1991. Milwaukee police officers Robert Roth and Rolf Mueller thought they were responding to a simple disturbance call. A man with handcuffs hanging from his wrist flagged them down, claiming he'd escaped from a crazy person's apartment. His name was Tracy Edwards, and he was about to lead police to Jeffrey Dahmer. But here's what most people do not know. This was Dahmer's first encounter with police. In fact, officers had been to his building multiple times. They'd even returned a victim to his apartment just weeks earlier. So what made July 22nd different? What was the one mistake that finally brought Dahmer down after 17 murders and 13 years of killing? To understand Dahmer's mistake, you need to understand his method. This wasn't a random killer. Dahmer was methodical, careful, and absolutely terrifying in his precision. His hunting ground was Milwaukee's gay bars. He'd approach young men, offer them money for photos, or invite them back for drinks. Once at his apartment, he'd drug them with sleeping pills mixed into their drinks. What happened next was always the same. But here's the chilling part. Dahmer had perfected a disposal system that made bodies disappear completely. Muriatic acid in his bathtub, industrial-strength drain cleaner, a sledgehammer for bones. For 13 years, the evidence literally went down the drain. Police received dozens of smell complaints about apartment 213. Neighbors said it reeked of death, but management always blamed plumbing issues and Dahmer's neighbors never pushed further. He was untouchable, until he made one critical error. May 27, 1991. Less than 2 months before his arrest, Dahmer had his closest call yet. Konarek Sinta Somphone, just 14 years old, escaped from Dahmer's apartment naked, drugged, and bleeding. Concerned women called 911. Police arrived and found the confused teenager on the street, but Dahmer was smooth. He convinced officers that Konarek was his 19-year-old boyfriend, that they'd just had a lover's quarrel, and everything was fine. Police actually escorted Konarek back to apartment 213, back to Dahmer. One officer later said she could smell something foul in the apartment, but they left without investigating. Konarek was murdered that same night. If police had searched the apartment that day, they would have found evidence of multiple murders. But Dahmer's calm demeanor and convincing lies worked perfectly. So if he could fool police face to face, what mistake finally exposed him? July 22nd. Tracy Edwards was supposed to be victim number 18, but something went wrong with Dahmer's usual routine. The sleeping pills didn't work fast enough. Edwards stayed conscious longer than expected, and when Dahmer left the room to get his tools, Edwards spotted something that made his blood run cold. Photographs, dozens of them, showing dismembered bodies, severed heads, and crime scenes. Edwards realized he was about to die. But here's Dahmer's fatal mistake. He'd grown overconfident. After 13 years of success, he'd stopped being as careful about restraining his victims immediately. Edwards broke free from his handcuffs and ran. Not just out of the apartment, he ran straight to the street and flagged down the first police car he saw. This time, when officers knocked on Dahmer's door, Edwards was there to tell them exactly what he'd seen inside. The mistake wasn't in his killing method. It wasn't in his disposal technique. Jeffrey Dahmer's mistake was assuming his drugs would work the same way every single time. When police entered apartment 213, they found a house of horrors. Severed heads in the refrigerator, body parts in freezers. Photographs documenting every murder. The smell that neighbors had complained about for years suddenly made horrific sense. Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested that night. He eventually confessed to 17 murders across 13 years, all because he got careless with one victim. All because Tracy Edwards stayed conscious just long enough to see the truth. But here's what really disturbs me about this case. How many times police almost caught him earlier? The system failures that let him kill for over a decade. If you want to see my breakdown of the 5 biggest police mistakes in the Dahmer case, hit that subscribe button and check out my next video. And let me know in the comments what other serial killer cases should I investigate. Because sometimes the most terrifying criminals are stopped by the smallest mistakes. Thanks for watching.